channel, welcome to Seen Through Glass, welcome to what's going to be a fairly monumental video. This channel is now 10 years old. Can you believe it? I set up Seen Through Glass in September 2014. Yep, 10 years ago. Time really does fly when you're having fun, eh? It blows my mind that I've been a YouTuber for 10 years, because back in 2014, being a YouTuber wasn't really a thing. I never thought this was going to be my career. I didn't even think it was going to be a job. It was barely a side hustle. I started it as a hobby. I just liked making videos. I was into cars and F1 and thought, you know, if I could earn like 100 quid a month, I could save up for British Grand Prix tickets or get the odd free tank of fuel. But 10 years later, I have been to countless British Grand Prix, and heck, I've driven a Formula 1 car. I've filmed with the likes of Sebastian Vettel, Jenson Button, Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon. I mean, last week I was involved in this huge project for the Lego Group with Lando Norris. I think it's fair to say my wildest F1 dreams came true. Beyond that, there have been the countless road trips, the incredible cars I've been able to own, and I think it's fair to say I got quite a few tanks of petrol out of the channel. So it should go without saying that I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. Some of you have been here since the very beginning. I meet you at live podcast events or car shows or just out and about. You say, oh, I've been watching since the 4C days, or some of you since the Audi TT days, and that really does take us back to the end of 2014. Which is amazing, because I know how much the channel's changed in 10 years, how much I've changed in 10 years. Heck, I'm a dad now, so you must have changed a lot as well. The fact you keep coming back, watching the videos, supporting what I do, it's sensational. So today, to celebrate this big birthday, I'm off to celebrate something else which is having kind of 10th birthday. It's probably actually its 11th birthday, but it's the Ferrari LaFerrari. Strangely, the LaFerrari and Seen Through Glass's kind of story, journey, history, it's been intrinsically linked. I often say the first video that got any kind of traction on this channel was me chasing a LaFerrari through the streets of London in my Audi TT. Back when I was only filming things point of view, I was trying to hide my identity because I was running a little PR consultancy which kind of was on the fringes of the F1 and automotive worlds, and I was terrified a client was going to stumble across one of my videos and be like, isn't this the guy we're paying to do our PR? Why is he chasing supercars around London in his Audi TT? But yeah, I got a tip off that a LaFerrari was in town. Back then, you've got to remember, it was brand new, the latest and greatest hypercar from Ferrari. So I jumped in my car, went to find it, and then ended up following it through the streets for probably a little bit too long. It's probably classed as stalking, but back then I was so excited that I didn't really care. And yeah, since then I've had the chance to get up close with a few different LaFerraris, ride in one, actually drive one during Drive the World, and it's always remained for me one of the pinnacle cars. The automotive world has moved forward so much in the last 10 years, but I still think of the LaFerrari as one of the all-time greats. And so yeah, you may have noticed I'm actually not in the UK right now. It's because I was crossing to mainland Europe. I'm in the Netherlands because Bernard's Exclusives have given me the amazing opportunity to not just get up close with the LaFerrari once again, but to actually drive it. So yeah, we're going full circle. I started this channel chasing a LaFerrari, and I'm about to drive one. And seeing how far the channel's come and what I've done over the last 10 years, it would only make sense to do a cliched Seen Through Glass thing and take it to get a coffee. So yeah, I hope you're as excited as I am. This feels like borderline the most Seen Through Glass video I'm ever going to make. And that's only right on the channel's 10th birthday. I think it's fair to say after 10 years of doing any job, it's easy to become sort of jaded or slightly demotivated. If you regularly listen to my podcast, you might think I've become a bit of a grumpy old man, but that's just that idiot Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales revving me up. I love what I do. I love making videos, and I still love cars. And it's really hard to not love my job on a day like today. If the LaFerrari opportunity wasn't already good enough, the team from Bernard's Exclusive said, well, we'll need to follow you when you're driving the LaFerrari, so we thought we'd bring a 599 SA Aperta along with us as well. I mean, that's one of the rarest modern Ferraris made, just 80 cars, essentially a roofless GTO, but it's not quite. Anyway, we'll get into that maybe a little bit later. But these two parked next to each other, both in the iconic Ferrari red. Usually, if I was out spotting back in the day, I would have bashed that LaFerrari spec. Oh, bore off, it's launch spec, red with the black roof and silver wheels. Today I adore it. It's never looked better. I actually find it quite hard to believe that this car is 10 years old. I mean, obviously the design is a little bit older than that, but this is a 2014 car. So yeah, it's 10 years old and it looks like it could be brand new. It's a bit like me. I mean, I'm sure you would think I haven't aged in 10 years, nor has the LaFerrari. The 599 does look a little bit older. It's obviously a 2010 car, so it is approaching 15 years old compared to 10 years old, but the shape has just dated a little bit. I think that's because we've seen newer iterations of the front engine V12 from Ferraris. Obviously this was succeeded by the F12, then we had the 812, and now we've got the Dodici Cilindri. Up until this point, we haven't seen a LaFerrari replacement. There is the Daytona SP3, but that is something different. So until they unveil the LaFerrari successor, I think it just still looks bang up to date, and that is so impressive when you think of its design. It's not just the design though, of course the tech was ahead of its time and still up to date. This is a hybrid hypercar back in 2013, 2014. That was so advanced. Actually, people were a little bit off about it, but now that seems the norm. I mean, most hypercars are either electric or hybrid these days. So yeah, just insane to think of what this represented then and still now. It's also tiny. Like, look at that next to the 599. It's so small. These days cars get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mentioned that Daytona SP3. It's quite massive. This car just looks just minute and shrunken and so close to the ground and the curves. And oh my God, I have to say a huge thank you to these legends. This is the ultimate birthday party for this channel. Absolutely outrageous. I wonder if I can wrangle the keys to that at some point as well. Not that I want to give up seat time in a LaFerrari, but I've always wanted to know what an Aperta is like. I mean, this is just... I'm going to run out of space on my phone taking so many photos today. I mean, oh, wow, it's so much more like cocooned in here than I remember. I know I mentioned that it looks small from the outside, but it feels small inside. Oh my God, I feel like I'm in a freaking race car. The windscreen is so narrow and so raked, and I've got this big digital display like right in front of me. It's the perfect level for my eyes. It's just, oh, and this big chunky steering wheel, these massive carbon fiber paddles. Obviously, a lot of these kind of buttons, a lot of this layout, familiar from other Ferraris of this era. I mean, that central stalk, straight out of a Speciale, I guess. The reverse, auto, launch. Not sure we're going to be trying launch today. This car is for sale. These days, LaFerrari coupes in Europe, about 4 million euros. So yes, once again, thank you to Bernard's Exclusive. Quite outrageous. So today's video is about celebrating SeenThroughGlass, thanking all of you, celebrating this car. It's not like it's a sort of flat out test drive from the Ferrari factory in Italy. It's just, we're gonna have fun though. We are gonna have fun. That's not gonna be hard to do. I mean, look, physical buttons on the steering wheel. Ferrari, why did you move away from this? Old school Manettino, wet, sport, race, CT off and ESC off. We'll probably avoid those today. Big old engine start, stop, bumpy road mode. Oh, let me close the door because I haven't even done that yet. Oh. I mean, now I'm in here, genuinely it feels like a Le Mans car. Like it's got that same vibe, so cocooned up. The Aperta has started up, which I think is the clue that we need to get moving. We haven't got long till the coffee shop closes, so you can't actually move the seat in a LaFerrari as far as I'm aware. Instead there's a lever here which moves the pedal box further away or closer, so let's see, where's that comfortable? Think about there. That's pretty much all you've got to adjust. There's a carbon fiber rear view mirror which feels a bit flimsy. It's up there, and then the side mirrors are amazing because they're on these huge stalks. Anyway, ignition in the LaFerrari on. Oh, I forgot you've got all your warning lights over there in a sort of separate screen. Right. Engine start. That's silly. Oh, the front lift is moving up. Let's pull that back down. First gear. And away we go, rolling out in the LaF. This is one of the sillier moments of my life, and definitely of my SeenThroughGlass career. I'm driving a LaFerrari, by myself I might add, following, yes, that 599 SA Aperta. Oh, I knocked into electric mode for a second. Well, that was interesting. That hasn't happened to me before. I've gone straight into race mode, which I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but how do I go into manual gears? There we go. This is so special. It feels so different to other Ferraris from this era. I'm actually struggling to put this all into words, boys and girls. Oh my God, it's so darty. That was a chicane. I made a chicane out of nowhere. Coming into a roundabout now, but got that V12, it's just behind us. It is so precise and light. I mean, I genuinely can drive it with my fingertips, which is what all true great Ferraris are about. Let's try and not have a crash at the roundabout, Sam. That would be advantageous. Yeah, everyone's having a little look, which I don't blame them. So that's so weird, this kind of constant knocking, this engine start stop and hybrid mode. I don't remember from when I drove a LaFerrari before. And actually just on that, so yeah, last drove the LAF in Marbella during Drive the World. And it was a grey, miserable day, an amazing opportunity, but I didn't really have a chance to get it, to kind of take it all in. It was about ticking a box. I set myself a challenge that year to drive the Holy Trinity. And kind of felt like I was just doing that, just ticking the box. Well, today, in the sunshine, like this, woo! Emergency stop. Oh, this is so intense. This is so intense. Yes, yes! How am I driving a LaFerrari? Hey, play it cool, Sam. This is, you know, the view out the front is so spectacular. These high sort of flanks covering the front wheels, and then I mentioned already those side view mirrors. And then just how small it feels, you kind of feel so low to the ground. It does, once again, feel like a race car. And the fact that those valves open so easily, that is exciting. Okay, there we go. Loud indicator. This is a lot to take in, people. It's a little bit overwhelming, emotionally a little bit overwhelming. 10 years ago, following these cars around London, seeing these cars outside the gates at Maranello, having a panic attack, and now I'm here driving one. This is one of the best days of my life. I'm sorry to my wife, our wedding was great. I'm sorry to my daughter, your birth was spectacular, but this, well, it's right up there. How do I put a window down? I've got to put a window down. I never want to get out. Screw the coffee. I genuinely don't need the coffee anymore. I'm also having to really pay attention here because, well, the inherent value is weighing on my mind slightly. The downshifts into neutral. Oh, he's revving the Aperta. Shall I rev? Oh no, I'm in E mode. Get out of E mode. What a fail! Oh. It's surprisingly easy to drive. Okay, if I mash the throttle, big crash. But actually to get in just like this, straight away, it feels familiar and controllable. Oh, it's a little underpass. Oh my God, okay, windows down again. Keep it in a straight line, Sam, keep it in a straight line. I just did a tunnel run in a LaFerrari. You know what I've just realised? When I started doing SeenThroughGlass, the Enzo was about 10 years old. Now, this is 10 years old. This is as old as the Enzo was when I was starting out, but it feels just on point. has this turned out to be my life? Like, how has this ended up being my reality? It just, you guys. My heart is racing so fast. How can cars still make me feel this way? 10 years in, I've been so lucky to drive so many things. This is not the first time I've driven a LaFerrari, which, you know, I realise is like a knobby statement to say. It's basically like name dropping. No one likes a name dropper. I just car dropped, didn't I? But it doesn't matter that I've driven it before. It doesn't matter that I've seen thousands of them. I mean, it is shocking that these mechanical tools, this is a tool, this is a thing to get you from point A to point B and to go really fast around a racetrack, but yet it can make me feel things that I can't even describe. Like, I'm not eloquent enough to be able to describe this experience. It's butterflies, like I have butterflies. Oh, where do I go from here? Honestly, I mean, there have been so many moments in the channel that I've asked myself that. Driving a Formula 1 car, buying a Challenge Stradale, doing a round the world trip with my wife in a Porsche 911, meeting F1 heroes, just so many different adventures. I've gone, what next? This feels fairly hard to beat. And you know what I love right now? I've just looked in my mirror. I've got a car, I don't even know what it is. And there's people hanging out the windows with their phones taking pictures. That was me. That was me. That still is me, if I'm honest. If I see a LaFerrari on the road, I'm still doing that, but I'm now in it. I'm now in it, driving it, like. Oh, there's another underpass. Oh, it's a big one as well. It's a big one. I know the world is changing. I know cars are evolving and theoretically getting better, but this feels peak. And even this is too electronic for many people. But I'm sorry, this is soul, this is character, this is cars, this is why I love cars, because of everything that's happening in my body. And what's happening in my body is a direct result of what I'm doing with my right foot and with my hands. Yes, electric cars are fantastic. Yes, hybrids are fantastic. Yes, new technology is great. But they do not hold a candle up to this, which was already stupid and unnecessary. But the best part is, look at my face. Look at the experience I'm having without having to go a gazillion miles an hour, which is what you have to do in these new age, overly engineered cars. And look, don't get me wrong, this car is a handful. It could really bite me if I wanted it to. But I'm trying to be as respectful as possible and enjoy it in a way that's not worrying to the owner, to the seller. I love that I get to share this all with you, because honestly, you're the ones who put me here. You're genuinely the ones that put me here. And there have been so many times where YouTube isn't easy. I've enjoyed it, but it's not easy. And I've questioned whether I'm doing things right, whether I've chosen the right path with the channel. But if it's led me to this moment right now, then I wouldn't change a thing, and I shouldn't. Oh, there's another underpass. This is Danilo, by the way, from Bernard's Exclusive, and he knows what he's doing. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Let's do this differently. First gear, I'm going to have to be so careful here. Let's go. I am feathering throttle. Because if you mash it, it's too quick, and boy are those gear shifts aggressive. They are so aggressive once you get going. Oh! First gear again. Okay, so now things have got a little bit intense. Just a reminder, driving a €4 million hypercar through the centre of town, which has a lot of speed bumps. There's some mopeds in the middle of the road. Lift system is up. I've survived the first hurdle, but I am now starting to sweat. Where is the air conditioning? Let's get that going. Because, yeah, it's suddenly feeling a little bit intense. But because of its size, it is easy to position. It's very easy to see out of, because you sort of feel like you're sitting up and over those front wheels. It's actually not hard to drive in and around town. UK viewers, I just want you to think back to your hazard perception test as part of your driving test. I'm doing a real life hazard perception test in a €4 million LaFerrari. Yeah, there is the coffee shop, I think. Because yeah, this has not been so fun. I think we're looking for somewhere to park. I really hope he doesn't expect me to now parallel park this LaFerrari. That feels like a little bit too much to ask, but I'm going to do it. Okay, parallel parking a LaFerrari. Kill me now. Reverse. We do have a rear view camera, which is about 1.5 megapixels. This is one of the most pleasurable driving experiences I've ever had to one of the most stressful. Am I in the space? I think I am. I think we'll keep it like that. That'll do. Maybe I'll just back up from this Range Rover, just in case. There we go. That'll have to do. I've made it. I need to lie down. Oh no, off. 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 This is literally not just what I want my channel to be about, what I want my life to be about. We've just driven here in two sensational Ferraris, two of the greatest Ferraris of all time. Stopped off for a coffee. I quite like the Netherlands. Every time I come here, I have pretty outrageous experiences and Ferrari experiences. You know, I'm all about creating memories. You know, with this channel, with what I do, I want to be able to retire in many years to come, end up on my deathbed and think back to, oh, remember that day I drove a LaFerrari in the Netherlands? And what's so fun is when I meet some of you out and about, you say, oh, I watched that video of you driving up to the top of a volcano in Tenerife. That was so special. I watched you and Tony doing a Mille. Let's hope that's not a gunshot. Do we need to get out of here? And the fact that we get to share in those memories is so fun and so cool. I'm not going to be upset that she's just blocked my view of the car because I've got a coffee and I'm going to get back in the car in a moment, but slightly frustrating. She could have read the room. Anyway, the coffee's, by the way, solid, but it's the least important part today. It's so cool, this thing though,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It sounded amazing from behind, but I'm now going to follow you so I can stare at the LaFerrari a little bit.
That one is amazing. This one is emotional.
Well, emotional's up my street. Right, I'm following you. As you can see, I am now in the 599 SA Aperta, and hey, listen to this. Yeah, it's me, hey man. Like Danilo just said, this is all about emotion. And that's what I'm about. I mean, it's not like the LaFerrari didn't have emotion. But yeah, this thing, a little bit of a previous generation and era to the LaF, of course. I think I'm going to enjoy this. So yeah, the SA Aperta, very few numbers produced worldwide. GTO engine and other GTO bits, so it's Larry, is essentially what we're trying to say. But that LaFerrari looks unreal. Right, let's edge out of here. suddenly feels huge, this car. Oh, the sound of this, because no roof, but also, as I say, different generation of V12. Very similar engines, that's obviously hybridized, but this day, I'm yet to go past 4,000 RPM. I'm literally yet to go past 4,000 RPM. This thing, right, let's try. This is stock, boys and girls. This is stock. It does feel huge and heavy though compared to the LaF, which is insane to say. But I feel like I'm driving a boat. First gear again. A couple of years ago, I came here to the Netherlands and I drove a Novatec 812 GTS. Some clips from that video have gone viral on TikTok, nothing to do with me, but it was one of the most orally sensational experiences I've ever had. This is right up there and it's stock. Feels amazingly together, this car as well. 599s I've always been a bit iffy with. The GTO I adored, the GTB, I don't know. I'm more of a mid-engine Ferrari guy, that is the truth of it. There are some front-engine V12s that I like, the 60s stuff, some of the Schumacher era stuff, but the more modern things, I don't know. But this is, yeah, lovely. That LaFerrari, I can really hear it with this roof down. I mean, this weather, honestly. If every time I come to the Netherlands I'm going to get sunshine and incredible Ferraris, I'm going to come here way more. But this car, Danilo's right, it's all about soul. It transports you to a different era of Ferrari. That thing is tight and complete and sort of aggressive but easy to drive. This is a Grand Tourer. This is Ferrari of old, but with all the shoutiness, all the flair that came in the Schumacher, De Montezemolo kind of era. We're on a very bumpy, quite awful road. I don't know why we're here, but just listen to that. Oh my God, there's a tractor cutting hedges in front of us. That is not something you want to see in €2 million Ferraris. This car's about €2 million, by the way. Don't know what the overall kilometers are on here, but it's not going to be much because the cars at Bernard's Exclusive are some of the best examples, best condition, etc. It's just this noise. And the cabin is stunning, by the way. I have to say, these seats are fantastic. The layout, there's carbon fiber everywhere. And we're now crossing the railway line. I feel like Danilo did not want to come this way. Oh, there's a van, there's a car coming the other way. Oh gosh. We're hustling. Idea that this car was coming out today. I thought the story I was going to be telling was of the LaFerrari, seen through glass, 10 years of both. But I think one of the first proper dedicated Ferrari videos I filmed on the channel, the first sort of test drive I did, was with a 16M down at Furlongs in Kent. And you know, that was the start of these insane Ferrari experiences that I seem to have been lucky enough to have. And that was a roof down, raucous, loud thing, and this is taking me straight back to it. This is obviously V12 compared to the mid-engine V8, but it's so similar. I had similar weather, and it's all coming together. Is there a chance that the greatest experiences I've had on the channel have all been with Ferraris? I need to look into that. Those downships! taking us back to the underpass. Okay, here we go, boys and girls. Oh, I need a V12, and I think I need a convertible one as well. Tell you what's going to be really depressing, driving home in the Panamera. It's going to be really crap, isn't it? I think I need a Lusso. Oh, I'm going to go bankrupt again. There's one thing which is remaining to do, which is irresistible now that we're parked up against a wall. Sorry. A huge shout out to these guys. I've had a look inside some of the secret storage facility. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on down here. So if you're interested, you can see on their website some of the stock they've got in. I think I'm going to have to come back because, I mean, this is just scratching the surface with the kind of cars that they have knocking around at any one time. But for me, it has been the ultimate way to celebrate 10 years of Seen Through Glass. And I think fundamentally the truth is I need another Ferrari. Maybe that's the next step. I was asking earlier, where do I go from here? I go with just collecting Ferraris. Don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm literally bankrupt at the moment, and my wife would kill me if I bought another prancing horse, but I'm going to do it. That's just life. It's got to work out which one and how, because these two are a little out of my price range for now. Let's work hard, lads. We can make it happen. Anyway, huge thank you for the last 10 years. It's been sensational, and I'll see you next week for another adventure.